Alright, today we're installing the fishing rod holders that go on the front of the console on a classic Outrage 18. These parts came from Specialty Marine. Excited to get these on there. Depending on which console you have, there might be a slight modification of the instructions here. The new parts, the new kit comes with two thicker wooden pieces, two thinner wooden pieces. The thinner wooden pieces go on the bottom, the thicker wooden pieces go on the top. They also have, they're wider. The little cutout here, recess for the fishing rod holder, is wider on one side for both the smaller and the bigger one. That's going to point down so that since the consoles are lean backwards, you put the bigger piece up at the top and the bigger opening where the fishing rod holders go at the bottom. That way the fishing rod holders will be more straight up and down and won't hit the windshield on the console. So they provide a bunch of these 2-inch bolts, which can work very well. They go inside the PVC pipe. You can't drop it in through the top, but they will fit if you slide it in and drop it down through there. And then it will go through the wood and then through the console. I already have holes in my console from the previous ones. These holes did line up perfectly, which is great. However, two of my bolts, there's wood in my console, reinforced it on the back side, and these aren't going to be long enough. So I have some existing longer bolts that will go through that. So depending on your configuration, you may need to use a longer bolt if you have some wood reinforcement in your console. Otherwise, the 2-inch bolts that come with it are fine. Also, they've got 3 holes, of course, for each of the 3 fishing rod holders that go across this. I, on my console, only have the outer holes that go all the way through into the console. So I think that's plenty sufficient for my use. So I'm going to actually use a different screw. I'm going to use a stainless number 14 shorter wood screw or sheet metal screw to just go straight into the wood for the middle one, because I don't need it to go all the way through the console. And that way it'll just hold it nice and firm to the wood, versus going all the way through. I will say for the thinner one, the number 14 screw I have is a little bit too long. I'm going to put a few washers on it, 3 washers on the inside. That way it won't protrude out the back and scratch the console. So that's my configuration. Number 14 screw for the center ones. You could through bolt that all the way through and drill holes through your console all the way through. The outside are sufficient for me, but you're welcome to go all the way through into your console for every single one, and you'll be good to go. The other thing that I've done, I noticed on my original PVC fishing rod holders, the outside hole was larger than the inside hole, which makes it a little easier for your drill bits and different things like that to go through there. If you're using just a regular screwdriver, the smaller hole on both sides is fine. For me, if I'm using a power screwdriver, or even if I had a larger screw that I wanted to be able to, like for instance, these that I had to do some really long screws. It's so long you can't get it in through the side and out. So I had to drill out the top hole, make it bigger so I could go all the way through and then catch it on the back side. I like everything to look the same, and just makes it a little easier if they're bigger anyway. So I went ahead and took a 1/2-inch drill bit, and actually drilled out the outsides of all those. That's entirely optional. You do not have to do that, but that can make it easier depending on your configuration and how you're installing it. Another thing that I noticed is the holes that come in this wood are just a little bit too small for this bolt that they provide to easily go through it. You could take a screwdriver and screw it all the way through there, but it's pretty tight. So I'm going to drill these holes out, make them just a slightly bit bigger, so these bolts will go through it easier on the outside ones. The inside one that I'm just going to screw into the wood, I'm going to leave that the existing size, because it's number 14 screw. That's a great size for me just to screw that in there. But the ones that I'm through bolting all the way through to make my life a little bit easier, I'm going to drill that out just a little bit bigger. Okay, I did confirm 1/4-inch drill bit. That may be what the original size was, just with the extra varnish and stuff, it made it a little bit difficult. So 1/4-inch drill bit is about what size it is anyway. And I'm going to drill out any of the holes you're going to use that you're going to through bolt. For me, it's going to be the outside holes. I'm going to leave the inside hole to just do a wood screw into that. So I'm going to go ahead and drill all of these out. Doesn't take much because it's really close to that size already. And that just allows that bolt to slide through there a whole lot easier. All right, now that we've got these drilled out, yeah, the bolt will push right on through there. No problem. All right, I'm going to go ahead and build out my fishing rod holders. Go ahead and get everything connected here. We'll start with one. Remember, the one will go on top with the smaller recess at the top. The thinner block of wood will go on bottom, the thinner recess. It's hard to tell on the lower one, the thinner recess. I'm going to through bolt. So go ahead and probably helpful. I get a screwdriver. All right. Helpful if you have a screwdriver, you can help push that through all the way in right there. All right, we got that. My center one. All right. Oh yeah, Seth has just pointed out very helpfully. For me, the one that I need the extra length on this bolt is this one up here. So I've got an extra long bolt at the top. In the middle, so I've got this one here, and I've got two number 14 screws in there, and these I'm just going to thread in place, screw down into the existing holes. Got a couple extra washers. I'm going to get those real snug. I'm going to leave those a little loose in case I need to swivel them. Alright, so that's one that's kind of pre-assembled. Let's go ahead and do this other one. Let's see here. So the bigger block on top, but the bigger groove at the bottom. the bigger recess at the bottom. So it'll go like this. So let's see. It's that one. Need this one to go on this side. Alright, put this one up on here in the top. And then we'll take two number 14 screws, load one in the bottom. My fingers were just long enough to where I could reach in there from the ends and set these inside. All right. Oops. Dropped that one out on accident. All right, now that we've got these preloaded, we'll go up on the boat and we'll put them on. All right, before we install our fishing rod holders, make sure that your holes are the right size. I have existing holes. The nuts and bolts that came out of it were slightly smaller than the new nuts and bolts that came with it, so I'm going to drill these holes out just slightly larger than so they'll reach or fit the new bolts that came. Probably a 1/4 inch or 5/16 bit would work. I'm using a smaller bolt for this top left and top right, so I'm not going to drill those out, but I'm going to drill the other 3 out. So how does she clear in there? All right, take our fishing rod holders, go ahead and see if we can push them through with our helper on the inside. There it is. All right, besides I'm not going to, let me get all these in here first. You're already. That's fine. All right, do you have them all started, Silas?
Not yet.
All right, well, you're getting those started. I'm going to push through the others.
Daddy?
Yeah, bud.
Your top right is not far enough. I won't be able to put the net on.
Top right?
Yeah.
All right.
Can you push it in anymore? I think I can get something.
I'm good, because that's about all I got.
Okay. I got these 4.
Okay, why don't you start on that one we were the top right?
Top right.
Put your wrench on it, and I'll tighten it down.
Got it.
All right, when you tighten these up, they don't need to be overly tight, just good and snug. Turn your wrench around.
Why?
Because it's going backwards. There you go. Hold on just a second. All right, bottom, right below that. Okay.
Oh.
Which one are you
Not
on?
right up next to it.
Hmm?
Oh, you want me? Oh. Hang on. The one that we just did is not. The nut's not right next to the thing.
What does that mean?
The nut is not right next to the fiberglass.
Okay, we'll come back over to this other bottom one.
Okay.
It is sticking out a little bit. All right, so finished putting the nuts and bolts on through here into the console with our helper inside. Turned out really nice, looks good. If you didn't have pre-drilled holes here, what you would do is before you put your fishing rod holders on the wood, you'd bring the wood up here and mark the template out and mark your holes in the console, and then drill your holes through the console, and then you could install it. But other than that, I would imagine most people already have the pre-drilled holes, so you're ready to go, and they look fantastic.